Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James, coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at the major headlines that we have for you today. President Tinubu to swear in Olatunji Disu as Substantive Inspector General of Police today. Governor Moino and Senate President Akpabio applauds peaceful and successful conduct of State Congress of APC. Plus, Donald Trump criticizes UK's initial response to US-Israeli strikes on Iran. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. First in the news this morning is that President Bola Tinubu will today swear in Olatunji Disu as the Substantive Inspector General of Police, following the unanimous endorsement of his appointment by the Nigerian Police Council. According to the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the swearing-in ceremony will take place during the Executive Council meeting. The Council's meeting, which will be held at the State House in Abuja, will be presided over by President Tinubu and attended by Vice President Kashim Shettima, state governors, and the Chairman of the Police Service Commission, retired Ashimu Agugu, in accordance with constitutional provisions. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has nominated Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance, replacing Doris Uzoka. Anita Uzoka was moved to the Budget and National Planning Ministry as Minister of State, marking her third ministerial portfolio under the current administration. Tinubu convened Oyedele's nomination to the Senate for confirmation in a letter addressed to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio yesterday. In the meantime, President Tinubu has urged governors, the private sectors, development partners, and youth to drive Nigeria's transition to a low-carbon economy. The President spoke during the launch of the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour in Abuja. Represented by Environment Minister Bala Rabba Lawal, the President described the tour as a national movement to convert climate awareness into a measurable action, deepen resilience, and attract green investment. He said climate change was already affecting farmers in the north, coastal communities in the south, while businesses were facing rising energy costs. Away from that, the federal government has formally prohibited cash collection of taxes and banned the mounting of roadblocks for revenue enforcement. Now, this is part of a fresh regulations to implement Nigeria's new tax laws nationwide. The disclosure was made in Abuja by the Executive Secretary of the Joint Revenue Board, Olusegun Adesokan, during the signing of the presumptive tax regulations and guidelines on implementation of the tax laws at the Federal Ministry of Finance. Adesokan said the new framework was designed to end informal, coercive, and fragmented tax practices, particularly at the subnational level. He explained that the regulations would entrench transparency and equity in tax administration, especially under the commons and informal sectors. Adesokan noted that the guidelines provided a uniform structure for subnational government in taxing the common sector and integrating operators into the formal system through a tax identification platform. Meanwhile, the federal government, through the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission (NCPC), has announced the immediate suspension of all pilgrimage to Israel due to the security situation in the Middle East. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Stephen Adegbite, made the disclosure in Lagos during a press briefing shortly after 500 pilgrims landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport from the 2025 main pilgrimage exercise. According to a report, the pilgrimage exercise began December 29, 2025, with the inaugural flight departing from Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Adegbite equally expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for what he described as unprecedented support for both Christians and Muslim pilgrimages. Adegbite urged Christians and peace advocates to continue praying for stability in Jerusalem and across the Middle East to prevent a humanitarian crisis. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio have applauded the peaceful and successful conduct of the State Congress of the All Progressive Congress APC, describing it as historic and unprecedented. In his remark at the Congress held at the Uyo Township Stadium, Governor Ino said it was heartwarming to have all the leaders and stakeholders sit together as family and friends under the APC, stressing that Akwa Ibom was truly a one united family. Governor Ino congratulated and urged the new state executive and state working committee of the party to continue to sustain a teamwork approach in order to carry every citizen along. The governor specifically appreciated President Bola Tinubu for his leadership, which has placed the party on a path of victory, and reassured of the support of Akwa Ibom State. On his part, the Senator Akpabio described the peaceful conduct of the exercise as unprecedented and worthy of celebration. Government House correspondent Jane Owa report that the Senate President recalled his previous experiences of party congresses in the state and attributed the peace and seamless exercise to the quality leadership provided by the governor. In the meantime, traders at the relocated Ikot-Agbe market in Uyo have raised concerns over poor conditions at their current trading site, describing the environment as unsafe and unconducive for business. The market was formerly situated at the location now occupied by the State Compressed Natural Gas CNG bus terminal. Following the government decision to move the traders to pave way for the CNG facility, the traders were reportedly allocated a new site. However, many of them are still operating along the roadside, directly opposite the CNG bus terminal, a location they admit was not officially assigned to them by the state government. Some of the traders lamented that they are unable to erect permanent shelters to protect their goods. According to them, the absence of proper stores and storage facilities has exposed their goods to harsh weather conditions, particularly during the rainy season. Meanwhile, the head of chambers at Nwoko & Co., Barrister Ekom Nwoko, whose office is located about 2 poles from the market, warned that the situation poses significant danger to both traders and road users. He added that the operation of traders along the highway has led to daily traffic congestion and obstruction. The legal practitioner recalled that government officials had previously engaged the traders, urging them to vacate the roadside and move to designated locations still at Ikot-Agbe, where structures have already been built. Recall that Akwa Ibom State's governor on October 4, 2025, relocated the CNG bus terminal site from Ojoitam in Itu local government area to Obio Fort and Ikot-Agbe communities in Uyo local government area, and On January 24, 2026, Governor North flagged off the construction of the CNG terminal at Ikodagbe or Fort, saying it is for enhanced accessibility. Let's move now to Africa, where at least 6 people have reportedly been killed when a shaft collapsed in the largest gold town mine in the rebel-controlled Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Witnesses said the bodies of 3 women and 3 men were recovered at Rubaya mine around 70 kilometers west of Goma. They said others were seriously injured in the collapse, which took place at an area of the mine known as Gasasa Quarry. On the foreign scene, President Donald Trump has criticized Keir Starmer and the UK's initial response to the US-Israeli strikes on Iran, saying that it is not Winston Churchill they are dealing with. The US says it has hit more than 1,700 targets in Iran since it began its military operations there on Saturday, stressing that Iran has retaliated with a wave of attack across the region. The Red Crescent said the number of people killed in Iran has reached 787. Still on the foreign scene, Israel says it has hit security headquarters across Iran as the strikes continue in Iran. Israel is also hitting Lebanon and has again warned people in southern Beirut to evacuate. The US-based human rights activist said at least 1,000 civilians have been killed in Iran since the US-Israeli attacks began on Saturday. Reports say an Iranian drone hit the US consulate in Dubai, while an Iranian missile hit a US base in Qatar yesterday. Still to come in the news. Andrea scores 94th minute winner as Wolves beat Liverpool 2-1. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now let's go over to the concluding parts of today's stories. On our business news, the World Bank Group has warned that developing economies are heading towards a significant employment crisis as millions of young people prepare to enter the workforce without enough jobs to absorb them, raising concerns about economic stability, migration pressures, and global security risks. In a post published on its official platform, the Washington-based institution said demographic shift unfolding across developing countries represents one of the most consequential but underappreciated forces shaping the global economy over the next decade. According to the World Bank, about 1.2 billion young people in developing countries are expected to reach working age within the next 10 to 15 years, while current economy projections indicate that only around 400 million jobs are likely to be created during the same period. The president of World Bank Group, Aja Banka, noted that while global attention is often captured by immediate crises such as conflict, technological disruptions, and market volatility, slower-moving structural forces like demographics, food and water pressures, and globalization trends are likely to have deepened and long-lasting consequences. Still in business, Nigeria's maritime sector has recorded a historic surge in activity in 2025, driven by increased cargo throughput, rising container traffic, and a growing export footprint. According to the 2025 Operational Performance Report released by the Nigerian Port Authority, the total cargo throughput rose by 24.8%, increasingly from approximately 103.6 million metric tons in 2024 to over 129.3 million metric tons in 2025. The Managing Director of the Nigerian Port Authority, Dr. Abubakar Dantosho, described the growth as one of the most significant annual increases in Nigeria's maritime history, noting that the milestone strengthened the country's position as a more competitive and strategic player in regional and global trade. In health, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has highlighted the risks of underage drinking and minors consuming alcoholic beverages sold in small sachets and small PET bottles packaging. NAFDAC explained that underage drinking can lead to violence and injuries, noting that alcohol is a significant contributor to youth suicides, murders, and car crashes or accidents. The agency said alcohol also plays a major role in kidnappings, banditry, terrorism, and other harmful activities occurring daily in the country. It listed the associated dangers, insisting that there is no justification to reverse the ban on the production, sale, and use of sachet alcohol and small PET bottles packs. Still in health, the Medical and Dental Practitioners Investigation Panel, set up by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, has suspended the medical director of Eurocare Multi-Specialist Hospital, Dr. Tunde Majekundomi, and two other doctors following the findings of medical negligence in the treatment of 21-month-old Nkanu Adechi Esegi. Following the panel's investigation, the medical director of Eurocare, Major Kodomi, the hospital's anesthesiologist, Dr. Titus Ogundare, and the chief medical officer at Atlantis Pediatric Hospital, Dr. Atinuku Uwaje, were suspended. The trio will remain barred from practicing medicine in Nigeria until their cases are determined by the Medical and Dental Practitioners Disciplinary Tribunal. In addition, the panel found a prima facie case of professional misconduct against 10 other doctors, including Dr. Adeseye Akinsete, Dr. Chidima Ogwowu, Dr. Anthony Aja, Dr. Marachi Bayo, Dr. Nkechi Peji, Dr. Olaoye Oludare, Dr. Ajeja Oyinkansola, Dr. Patricia Akintang, Dr. Babatunde Bamboye, and Dr. Rajid Fadet. Let's move now to sports, where Andre scored a 94th minute winner as Bottom Club Wolves beat the defending Premier League champions Liverpool 2-1. Mohamed Salah looked to have rescued a point for Liverpool after Rodrigo Gomes gave Wolves the lead. But in added time, Andre's strike took a deflection of Joe Gomez to send Manilus wild. For the fifth time this season, Ancelot's side conceded an injury time winner. We move now to sports, where Nigerian Super Falcons defeated the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon 3-1 in their second friendly at the military stadium Yaoundé yesterday. Cameroon took the lead through Christiana in the 7th minute, but the Super Falcons battled back into the game with Chiwendu Iyazo equalizing in the 32nd minute. Ransola Babajide gave Nigeria the lead for the first time in the game 3 minutes before the break, slotting home from inside the box. The African champions doubled their lead through Michel Alonzi's header in the 64th minute, but Super Falcons maintained their lead for the remainder of the game. On entertainment news, veteran Nigerian actor Francis Odega has said that the quality of Nollywood movies have drastically reduced over the years. Speaking in an interview, the actor claimed that Nollywood during his days were better than Nollywood of today. He explained that back when he and his contemporaries held sway, Nollywood used to make unforgettable movies, but nowadays, Nollywood movies are mostly bad. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I am Emedion James. Bye for now.